If you've ever felt that the more you give, the less you receive. If you've tried to be kind, considerate, and do everything right, only to watch others effortlessly surpass you, then this video is for you. Because today, we're going to talk about something uncomfortable. Something you've been taught to ignore. Why do nice guys always finish last? You've been lied to your entire life. They told you that if you were patient, if you waited your turn, if you played fair, life would reward you. But here you are, watching others, with half your effort, achieve what you've always dreamed of. People who don't follow the rules, who don't stop to be good, succeed. Meanwhile, you keep waiting. Waiting for someone to recognize your effort. Waiting for your chance. Waiting for the world to realize you deserve more. Let me tell you something. The world is not waiting to reward you. It doesn't work the way you were led to believe. The nice guy is the side character in the story. The support. The one who helps others shine, but never shines on his own. And here comes the painful part. It's your fault. You chose to believe in the fantasy that goodness is rewarded. That if you're patient, someone will come and reward you for being a good person. But the world doesn't reward intentions. It doesn't give points for waiting politely. The world rewards action, presence, impact. Look around you. How many times have you seen someone unscrupulous rise while you, with all your effort, remain in the same place? And the worst part is, you still believe that if you wait long enough, luck will change. That justice, at some point, will be on your side. But justice doesn't exist. At least, not in the way you'd like it to. And here comes the big question. What do you do with this information? You can keep complaining. You can lament that the world is unfair. Or you can do something with this knowledge. You can start playing by the real rules. Not the rules imposed on you to keep you in check. Dostoevsky understood this well. If you don't want to be a fool in this society, you have to understand its structure. He himself experienced firsthand what it means to be cast aside, ignored, and punished for thinking differently. But instead of wallowing in self-pity, he used it to understand human nature. Because here's the brutal truth. People don't respect passive kindness. They respect presence. They respect action. They respect those who have the courage to take up space without asking for permission. And here lies the real problem with nice guys. They believe being nice is enough. That by being kind, patient, and understanding, the world will respond with reciprocity. But the world doesn't respond to kindness. It responds to strength. Not brute force, but strength of will. Strength of decision. Strength of identity. The nice guy finishes last because he has no power. Because he's convinced himself that asking for what he wants is selfish. That defending his space is arrogant. That claiming what he deserves makes him a bad person. But that's not true. The people who move forward aren't the ones who wait. They're the ones who take. Look at any success story. You won't see the timid or the hesitant. You'll see those who took control of their narrative. Those who decided that if the world wasn't going to reward them, they would build their own place. Now, stop and think. How many times have you held back out of fear of seeming aggressive? How many opportunities have you let slip because you didn't want to make others uncomfortable? How many times have you chosen to stay in the background, waiting for someone to rescue you? That's the problem. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to give you permission to take your place. No one is going to stop and make sure you get what you deserve. And here's the most important part. You don't have to become an asshole to stop being the nice guy. It's not about stepping on others. It's about stopping your own self-sabotage. Stopping the habit of acting like you need permission to exist. If you keep waiting, you'll watch as those who don't wait take what should have been yours. You'll see how those who aren't afraid of rejection and don't feel guilty for wanting more end up getting what you never even dared to ask for. The choice is yours. You can keep being a spectator in your own life, or you can start playing the game by the real rules. Stop waiting to be chosen. Stop thinking that patience is a virtue, when in reality, it's just slowing down your growth. Because here's the final brutal truth. Being good is not enough. It never was. The truth is, no one tells you this because it's not in their best interest for you to know. It's not in their interest for you to realize that you've been programmed to settle, to follow the rules without questioning them, to always put others before yourself. Because the moment you understand this, the moment you decide to stop being a pawn in this game, you become dangerous. Look around. Who are the ones who truly control the world? They are not the kindest. They are not the most patient. They are not the ones waiting their turn. They are the ones who understand that power is not asked for, it's taken. Respect is not begged for, it's commanded. Opportunity doesn't come, it's created. And this is where most people get it wrong. They think that stopping being the nice guy means becoming a tyrant, someone cruel, someone ruthless. But no, it's about balance. It's about stopping being a spectator and becoming the main character. Understanding that, in this world, kindness without strength is irrelevant. Think about this. How many times have you been in a conversation where someone interrupts you and you stay silent out of politeness? How many times have you wanted to ask for something but stopped yourself out of fear of making others uncomfortable? How many times have you watched someone with less talent, less preparation, less effort, achieve what you've been waiting for years? That's the difference between them and you. But here's the key. You don't have to keep playing that role. It's up to you to decide whether you keep waiting or start taking what belongs to you. They don't ask for permission. They don't wait for the world's approval. They don't carry the guilt of wanting more. And here's where the big lie comes in. You've been told that wanting more is greed, that fighting for what's yours is arrogance, that claiming your space is selfishness. But tell me, how many times have you seen someone truly successful apologize for it? The world is built on a paradox. The weak are punished, but the strong are admired. Those who submit are ridiculed, but those who take the lead are followed. Those who wait are forgotten, but those who act are remembered. Look at any great figure in history. Look at those who have left their mark on the world. What do they all have in common? They weren't passive. They weren't self-sacrificing to the point of erasing themselves. They didn't hold back their own success out of fear of what others might think. And here's the key. It's not about being cruel, but it's also not about being a martyr. It's not about stepping on others, but it's also not about letting them walk all over you. It's not about becoming a villain, but it's also not about continuing to play the victim. Because the truth is this: people treat you the way you teach them to treat you. If they see you as someone easy to ignore, they will ignore you. If they see you as someone who never asserts themselves, they will never give you your place. If they see you as someone who avoids conflict instead of demanding respect, they will disrespect you. The nice guy finishes last because he never understood that the world is a hostile place for those who don't know how to stand their ground. Because he never realized that being valuable isn't enough. You have to prove it. Being smart isn't enough. You have to make people listen. Being patient isn't enough. You have to move when the time is right. And here's the part that really hurts. It's not that you're not enough. It's not that you don't have what it takes. It's that you were taught to hold back, to shrink yourself, to dim your own light so others could shine. But tell me, how much longer will you wait? How many more years will you keep believing that someday someone will reward you just for being a good person? Because here's the worst part. That will never happen. It never has. And it never will. Kindness without action is invisible. Patience without strategy is wasted time. Respect without assertion is meaningless. So tell me, when was the last time you took control? When was the last time you stopped asking for permission to do what you truly want? When was the last time you decided you deserve more and acted on it? If the answer is never, then you already know why you are where you are. If the answer is a long time ago, then you already know what you need to do. Stop waiting. Stop believing life owes you something just because you've been good. Success doesn't come to those who deserve it. It comes to those who chase it. Respect is not given, it's demanded. And the time you spend waiting is time that others are using to pass you by. So stop being the supporting character. Stop being the one who watches as others take what he himself could have had. Start playing by the real rules. If you keep believing that patience, extreme humility, and sacrifice will get you far, all you'll achieve is watching as those without those barriers move forward without looking back. Choose now. Will you keep waiting, or will you finally take what should have always been yours? Because here's the truth no one wants to accept. The world wasn't built for the righteous, but for those who know how to move within it. And if you keep holding on to the idea that everything will come in its own time, if you keep trusting that luck will someday turn in your favor without doing anything different, you're lost. This is where most people break. Because deep down, it's easier to wait. It's easier to say, "It's not my time yet," than to accept that the problem isn't time, but your inability to take action. Excessive patience is a trap. But it's not your fault. You've been domesticated. They taught you to fit in, to be predictable, to be manageable. Because a man who doesn't doubt, a man who acts without asking permission, a man who stops fearing judgment, is a problem. The system is designed to make you doubt, to make you never fully trust your own judgment. They've drilled into your head that being firm is arrogance, that demanding what you're owed is selfish, that moving quickly is aggressive. But look at those who have built empires, those who have changed history, those who have transformed their lives. Do you think they doubted before they took their place? Do you think they waited for someone to give them permission? Of course not. The world rewards those who understand the only real law. There are no rewards for those who wait, only for those who take risks. But I warn you, this is not an easy path. I'm not going to sell you the lie that just waking up one day with a different attitude will immediately change everything. Getting out of the mold they imposed on you requires destroying parts of yourself you've protected until now. Because when you start moving, people get uncomfortable. When you decide you're no longer going to be the submissive, the helpful one, the quiet one, the masks fall. And those who were comfortable seeing you as harmless will start attacking you. Not because you've changed for the worse, but because your growth reminds them of their own mediocrity. But here's the key: weather the storm. Those who criticize, those who call you arrogant, those who try to make you doubt, they're not building anything. They're too busy trying to stop you. Because if you advance, they run out of excuses to stay stuck. Do you know why the good guy never bothers anyone? Because he doesn't represent a threat. He's safe. He's predictable. He doesn't bother anyone with his ambition. But the day you decide you're no longer going to be a spectator, you become an anomaly. And society hates anomalies. So, if in the process of claiming your place you feel resistance, if you notice some people start looking at you differently, if they call you selfish or try to make you feel guilty, you're on the right path. Because the only way to move forward is by letting go of the need to be accepted by everyone. And here comes the key question. What do you prefer? To be loved or to be respected? People love those who don't represent a threat. Those who don't question anything. Those who don't demand more. But they respect those who have presence. Those who dare to say what they think. Those who don't ask for permission to exist. And here's the final paradox. When you stop wanting to be liked, you automatically become more attractive, more interesting, more magnetic. Because independence is rare. Security is rare. People are drawn to those who aren't desperate to fit in. So if you've made it this far, let me tell you something. You're dangerous. Not because you're bad. Not because you're a villain. But because now you have information that most will never have the courage to accept. Because now, every time you hesitate before asking for what you deserve, you'll remember this. Every time the temptation to wait your turn appears, you'll know there are no turns. There's only those who take and those who watch. Every time you think about staying quiet to avoid discomfort, you'll realize that's exactly what has kept you stuck. And the final decision is in your hands. You can walk away from this video and continue with the same life, with the same beliefs that have kept you where you are. Or you can start moving differently, walking with more firmness, speaking with more confidence, demanding what you once thought you couldn't ask for. Because here's the final truth. Life isn't waiting for you. The world moves on with or without you. And the only way to secure your place is by taking it with your own hands. If you've made it to this point, I want you to leave a comment with this phrase. Power is not asked for, it is taken. I want to see how many truly understand the message. And if this video has made you think, if it's made you question yourself, if it's given you answers you've never found elsewhere, subscribe, because this is just the beginning. I'll see you in the next video, or I'll see you at the top. The choice is yours.